Hello?
Hi, man.
Could you introduce yourself? I'm here for the interview.
Yeah. Okay.
The
I
recording is already started.
yeah. If any kind of name for the radio, well count radio. Is that the
Uh,
name?
hmm? Okay. Hello, Exo. Your band brought out a new album and the reviews for it are very good. Are you satisfied with the reviews by now?
Yeah, sure. We are absolutely satisfied with it. This album is, you know, it cost a lot of work for us. And when we released our previous album, Divinity, we were thinking that it was the best job or the best record we could ever do. But with this new album, I think we did a much better job, and we are really satisfied with all the feedback from the international press and the metalheads.
hmm Um, could you tell to the listeners about the concept of the album? I mean, the songs. Could you explain them a little bit for them?
Yeah, sure. This album treats about the Mesoamerican civilization,
hmm
about the way of conquering those civilizations, but not in a good way. You know, we are not proud of it. It's a way to have a to apologize with them about that situation.
And
So we always want to tell stories about former civilizations similar to our story, our civilization right now, because all those ones were you can tell that those stronger civilizations were going to end. So it's a very similar story to wars nowadays, and that's one of the things that we like most.
uh, so it's some kind of a social statement for about the Incan and Mayan and Aztec empires, and you see a similarity with them to the civilizations nowadays, and to the modern Western civilization. Am I right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's everything about the concept that every civilization is going to end. And nowadays we are very convinced that we are going to be, for years and years. And I think that we are we are really wrong about that.
Uh-huh. And sorry for this question, but who do you see in your lyrics as the conqueror of the new civilization?
The conqueror in this story, I think that Spain conquered a lot of lands and a lot of different kingdoms. But I think that in the record on the record we talk about the way of conquering those civilizations, also
Mm.
the way of living, the kind of rights, the way they saw the life and they saw the battle. Those kind of things are very important for us to tell on the album, and it's also the same way that we express in life when we play. It's their way of living and their way to feel life and destruction and the battle. You know, those kind of basic elements to live.
Uh-huh. Will you make a video for one of the songs from the new album?
Yeah, sure. We were supposed to start the recording sessions last week, but we have a little, we had some problems with the schedules, and we have to start the recordings after summer. But for sure, it's going to be new videos for this album. First of all, we want to focus everything on touring as much as possible, and to answer all the kind of interviews we have, to just publish all the kind of reviews the album is going to receive, and after that, maybe just October or the end of September, depends on the touring plans we have. We are going to start a recording for the next video.
Uh-huh. Do you know maybe which song will get a video for it?
Yeah, sure, I know, but I want to keep it in secret. So
Okay, I understand you. Just asking. How's the tour going on?
The tour, well, we did a Spanish tour presenting the album in
Hmm.
almost every city. Now we are in summer and we have a few festivals.
Hmm.
And for tours going in Europe, I can tell now anything because everything is closing. And our agency, the Fleming Arts from Russia, is closing all the dates. And maybe really, really soon we can tell something. But for the moment, it's impossible for us. First, the agencies have to close everything, and when we are confirmed and all the dates are confirmed, we can publish and post everywhere.
Hmm. So, if I understand you right, only Russia is left on your list now, which is for sure. Am I right?
Well, Russia, you mean about touring plans or
Yes,
about?
yes. I
Yeah.
mean, I meant touring plans.
Yeah, well, there are countries that we never play there, like Norway or Finland, and those kind of Nordic countries. For sure, Russia is one of the countries we want to visit really soon. And the matter that our agency is from there, from Russia, is very important for us. So it's going to be really amazing to do Russia, and I can tell next month, but really soon maybe. I hope presenting this album, and if
Mhm.
not, presenting the next one.
Where was the best concert on this tour by now?
Well, and Spanish tour, you mean?
Yes, maybe. I mean, if you could name a city where you played the best show by your opinion, where the crowd went wild, and so on. I mean, that kind of feeling. Where was the best show?
Well, in this actual tour, I think we had really good shows. But if I have to choose one, I think in Metal GDL, it's a festival from Portugal. It's not Spain, but it was one date included in our touring plan. So we had to travel to Portugal and play there in the city of Grandola, and it was really amazing. A lot of people seeing the show. We could share stage with bands like Vader and Sambed and Christian. So it was quite nice. Portuguese crowd are always the best ones.
Mhm. Did you have some bad experience during the tour?
Well, you always have trouble depending on the kind of things. Yes, you have bad experiences talking about promoters and things like that, but it's always behind, you know.
Mm.
So I don't think we have any kind of bad experience. Maybe some dates you expect sometimes more, the answer, stronger feedback, but depending on the kind of crowd.
Mhm.
We played in a lot of countries, and depending on the country, the kind of feedback from the crowd is different, and that's not something you know uh, significant about that if they like or no.
Mm.
They, I think, they have different ways to express that they like your music and they support your music.
Ah, so nothing more than the usual problems.
Yeah.
Um, what's the main difference between your new album and the last album called Divinity from 2009?
Well, I think one of the most important differences are that this album sounds more classic, I would say, and it's a way to express a more mature sound. If you listen to this album slowly, you can feel the evolution of the band. I think all the structures from the songs are much more complex, and everything sounds more adult. The I don't like that word, but the last album was our first or debut one, and it's always a matter of trying and experimenting with your sound. And then we found out. So this one, it's like this is our sound, and we are going to do it in the most perfect way we want.
Uh, while we are at your last album, you had a guest on the last album, Christos Antonio from Septic Flesh.
Yeah.
Did you have also a guest on your new album?
No, there were no guests on this one. It was something special to count with Christos for Divinity because he's a great musician and we all the members in Noctem we love Septic Flesh. It's really really great band. That it's not something that we wanna do in every album. We don't want to count with guests on every album. Maybe the next one we will have. We
Mhm.
talked with some friends in the in the international music scene, but finally it was better to keep the sound of for the main band. Just knock them on this album, and maybe the next one is going to count with guests, but not this one.
Mhm. How did he contribute to your last album?
Tell me, can you repeat?
Uh, what did he do for your last album? I mean,
Christus.
no, Christos.
Yeah, well, he composed some orchestral arrangements and he played them. And it was really, really good because we were thinking in the main song, Divinity, as one of the videos, one of the singles of the album. So it's one of my favorite songs and the most, epic one, I could say. So we met him in a show in our city, Valencia. Yeah, his band, Septic Flesh, was playing with Vader, supporting Vader, and we could talk about different kind of their plans, and suddenly we start talking about collaboration in our first album. So we were really amazed by his job with orchestral arrangements for Communion, and it was a really good situation, a really good, for us to count with him in our next album. That was the main idea that we started to talk about his job, and then the things went into another direction.
Uh-huh. Um, did you have the chance to listen to the new Septic Flesh album?
Yeah, sure. The Great Mass is amazing. I think I like most Communion because I think it's more direct, but I really love this one. I think in the talking about composition and the structure of the songs, about complex, this album is way better than the other one.
Mm-hmm. Especially the orchestral parts. Um, listening to your music, I would say that Behemoth seems nowadays to be your main influence. Am I correct?
Well, yes, it's not a matter of Behemoth is nowadays our biggest influence. I mean, Behemoth is the band that we always listen to. Those
Mm-hmm.
that kind of music, Belfagor, Behemoth, Nile. So I really like the way that Nergal works all the time. For me, he's a really, really an absolute brilliant professional, and yes, it's not something that we talk about. It's not like we are going to sound this song or this riff like Behemoth sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's something just natural. We're always looking for our main sound, but your influence always are there are present in your music.
Yes, it always comes out in a way. Is there any other influence on Noctem, musical, or maybe some books that inspired the band members of Noctem, or some movie that inspired you to make your music?
Yeah, sure. Apart from the extreme metal bands and extreme metal music, we always listen to classical music also,
Mm-hmm.
and ambient music. Ambiental music, something that cannot influence you directly. Uh, Also, we always love to read about Lovecraft and those kind